In Tier 8, it is almost a meme now at this point for how many boring Russian knockoffs there are that carry the 122mm armament, have pretty similar armor, everything going for them just exactly the same. The IS-6, then you've got the Object 252, and the IS-3, and the IS-5, and the 111, and the IS-3 Defender. I mean, sure, the vehicles have slight differences here and there, and there's probably some stickler in the comments that's going to tell me, yeah, actually they're different, but they all carry basically the same gun, and they all basically do the same thing. They can come in handy sometimes. I like the ability of a lot of these heavies that you can just kind of not care, drive into the enemy, use your alpha, use your hit points and armor, and win. But they are definitely a bunch of the most boring Tier 8s in the game. There's only one out of all of these 11 tanks that I actually enjoy playing and that I'd actually suggest to take a look at buying, which is the WZ-112 Glacial. Now this tank usually comes out like really cheap because Wargaming gives zero craps about this tank. It's one that they've had in the game for 6 years. They haven't really changed it too much apart from a lower plate buff. And that's about it. Nobody really cares too much about the Glacial. So in today's video, and I think I've done one like this in the past, I want to talk about why this tank is actually a really underrated beast. So what we're going to start off with is the armor profile of, let's just get out an average Russian heavy tank. How about an IS-6? Let's go pull up Armor Inspector. This is an IS-6 using 6 degrees of gun depression. Its upper plate's about 227mm thick. If you're using heat, yeah, you just butter right through the upper plate. Let's say we get out an IS-5. Yeah, I mean, just the IS-5, it's got okay armor for Tier 8, but man, a TS-5 just turns its entire upper plate, even with enhanced armor on, into a piece of cake. There is not a single Russian heavy apart from the 252 that you can pull up that would actually be able to withstand a TS-5 shot. Until we pull out the WZ-112 Glacial. Look at this thing's upper plate. Yeah, sure, the turret's kinda weak. Well, it's 340 thick. It's not weak, it's just that a TS-5 with 370mm of heat pen is kinda ridiculous and overkill for this comparison, but it just showcases the fact of a 400mm upper plate. I mean, that is actually insane. If you angle this upper plate just on almost flat ground using 2 degrees of gun depression, you can completely bounce even a TS-5 using heat. And the lower plate isn't weak either. It's over 200mm thick. This is not a weak armor profile. Now, it does have weak spots, like the hatch on the roof. Yeah, pretty easy to penetrate, and if you can hit them, you're going to go through almost every single time. But it's just the fact that the Glacial has such a ridiculous upper plate. If you're in just a normal Russian heavy, let's say like an IS-6, I mean, this is what the upper plate looks like with heat. You can't pen it. It's over 300mm thick. There's not a single Russian heavy you'll find on flat ground that you can't pen with heat and Kelly. It's just not even close. Obviously, on paper, the armor seems absolutely fantastic, but that's not always the case when you run a vehicle like the Glacial. It's quite slow, only going in at a top speed of 32 kilometers per hour. Its lower plate can quite easily be penetrated by any Tier 8s that you'll be fighting, and if you're tall enough, you can penetrate the upper plate just by looking down on it. But I do want to point out, those are the downsides of the tank. No Tier 8 is completely overpowered unless you look at vehicles like the Chimera or the Shark, and this isn't those types of vehicles. This definitely has some balance incorporated in it. But I'm not gonna lie, the armor is incredible. If you can use it and actually get it to work, you feel basically like a god, because nothing's going to pen you. You just gotta hide that lower plate or angle it correctly, and oh man, does it work very well. So what does the enemy team have? They got an Amex M449, they got a Tiger II, and a Lycan for heavy tanks. You'll notice that, yeah, mobility-wise, it's not the fastest of Tier 8 heavies. We're only going 36 kilometers per hour downhill. It doesn't actually have a bad power-to-weight ratio. You can see we're quite easily keeping up with the Action 10, which is quite mobile heavy, but yeah, it's not going to be writing home about how fast it was able to finish the Olympic pool or whatever it's going for. So we're just going to continue driving on up. Our Action 10's pushing quite aggressive, and I'm hoping that their heavies decide to go this way, because if they do, it'll be absolutely amazing. I can use my armor, hide it around the berms, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. Actually, it looks like they all went towards A side. My luck. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push towards B at this moment. A lot of tanks like to go into B. They think they can either use their gun depression or capture the base. So if you can actually use this road that is directly in front of B, I've noticed it's a really, really solid position to work all down. As I said, vehicles try to get into B. So we got like the Super Pershing over here. There you go. Easy tap right into the side armor. Pretty nice. Now I will say one disadvantage of this position, unlike the Action 10 has, is I don't really have a lot of gun depression. So I got to be very careful about that. There you go, already a pretty solid bounce. We got the Lycan over here. I'll just try and get some bounces. I'm hoping, yeah, there you go, bounce, and now I got to drive all the way over. We got the Ag Tiger at the back, and yeah. In this current time, my armor isn't going to be bouncing all too much, but I'm going to aim it on the AMX. There you go, nice tap for 367, and I'm going to proceed to push up a bit more aggressive. Ooh, we got the Super Pershing off to my side. No clue what the Super Pershing was shooting at. I think it was me, but I cannot confirm or deny that. Let's shoot another shell at that Super Pershing side. There you go, nice tap for 342. We got the Tiger 2 all the way off to the side. Let me back up. Oh, went through my track wheel. Can't say much about that. That kind of sucks. Super Pershing exposing his hull again. There you go. I mean, this is just what the Glacial does well at. In situations like this, where, as I said, your hull is exposed, you can just use your alpha. And, I mean, alpha's going to outtrade a lot of the time. So, like the Super Pershing, I don't really know what this guy's doing, but he won't be doing it anymore. That guy is clearly taken out of the battlefield. We got the AMX M4 in front of us and the Ag Tiger 8.8 on the bridge. The Tiger 2 decided to flank, so in this current time, I'm not super worried about a lot of opponents. Hopefully we can shoot, you know what? I'll just go for the AMX. It'll be a pretty easy tap right into his track wheel for 407. I have more damage per shot. This is where armor doesn't matter too much. And as I said, the armor isn't always fantastic. If you can't really use it, then you just trade with people. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. We got the Yag Tiger. There you go. Nice heat shell right into his tank. Because I'm running calibrated shells on this vehicle, I have 297 millimeters of heat pen, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So all that's left is the Tiger 2. I mean, that's all that left that actually has a pretty decent beefy hit point pool. So we're going to aim in. Yeah, didn't think that would pen. Tiger 2, even with how much heat pen I have, is still incredible on just the armor, the sheer armor profile it's able to carry. So we're going to push over towards the Tiger. Hopefully I can get a shell in. That AMX did shoot my teammate, but okay, action, please move, comrade. I'm going to squeeze past you. He's probably going to die, I'm going to be honest. Oh, nope, he bounced it somehow. The Tiger's pushing off to the side over here. He's probably going to finish off my Action 10, which, yeah, isn't great for him. But, hey, maybe this will be a situation where I can showcase the armor actually working. So let me get up towards this Tiger. Hello, good sir. How are you doing? Not very good, I can tell you that. He shot my hatch. As I did say, the hatch is a weak spot, but it didn't make too much of a difference in the overall outcome of this battle. We did over 3,000 damage. We were able to showcase where the gun is nice, but we weren't really able to use the armor all too much, only blocking about 750 damage. As I said, when the battle started, you don't always get to use armor. Armor is this thing that is situational, right? You can only use it in specific environments that work for you. So if you're in Himmelsdorf and you can hide your hull, or let's say I brawled the heavies in the town, that's great. But when you're in a situation like that, where you're not in the environment you want to be, you have to use your tank in different situations, and that's exactly what I tried to do there. So here we go, another battle. Hopefully we'll be able to use it a bit better this time. We got an FV201, we got an IS-6, and an AMX 5100 on the heavies. For mobile tanks, they have a Comet, and yeah, that's about it. Okay. Waiting for the countdown to get done, then I'm going to tell my team to go over towards base C. Hopefully they do, because a lot of times, I can't tell you how many teams say, ah yes, I am in tank, and I'm going to go towards base A. Like this Tiger that really wanted to do that. I don't know why people think that town is a smart idea. Every now and then, though, you'll see a team that goes town, even when I'm recording. I wouldn't even be surprised if the enemy team got spotted over towards A side, but I'm going to try and get over towards C. Now, as I said, this tank's not very fast, so you do got to be a little bit careful when trying to cross into aggressive positions, because vehicles like the IS-6 and vehicles like the FE201 will get there faster than you. But thankfully, I do have the ability to just kind of shrug off their shells. I still got a lot of hit points at 1900, so let's see what the enemy's doing. And wow, I may have called it. They may have actually gone A side. There's no way, right? I'm just trying to show the armor of this tank, and I just can't. The enemy's literally not putting themselves in positions for me to be able to. What is this? Yeah, they literally... Oh my god, I hate this game. I actually hate this game. Alright, Wargaming, you sons of butts, you're actually listening to, like, what I'm saying and purposely trying to make sure that I can't showcase the armor of this tank. So, I guess I won't be able to. Sorry, guys. Well, what did I spot? Oh my god. This is sad. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. A camping AMX 5100. Oh, this is making me angry. Well, let's see if we can get a shell. There's the AMX, and can't get a shot into his vehicle yet, but maybe as he crosses over here and fire. Wow, that actually hit. That's incredible. Well, there you go. At least I can say that's a bit of an upside. Please get off of me, lightweight. I'm trying not to be hit by that Sturmill. I want to push over towards this ISU-152. Don't tell me that guy's going to drown himself. Please, please. I don't see him anymore. Uh-oh. Well, there's a bounce from the FE201. Let's get a shell into his tank. Or not. I mean, the armor's doing its job. At least I can say that, right? There's the Sturmill. I doubt this guy can pen me in the current position I'm sitting at. So, well, even if he hits me. So let's get a shell into the Stur. And let's reload again. Yep, the ISU killed himself. What is this game? I want to quit. I want to quit. Well, the armor's at least bouncing shells here and there. If this hits, it will be a Christmas miracle. And it did hit. Okay. Looks like I'm the fortune teller of this battle. We're going to full health ammo rack, the VK100. If I do, I honestly do not know what to say. Let's just tap him in the lower plate. There you go. Armor doing its job again. I mean, this is at least like a slight representation of where the armor does an okay job, but this battle is sad. I'm going to report that ISU. I'm going to tell you that now. Sure, your team may be trash, but killing yourself, not letting the enemy team getting damage, and as well, I mean, just doing nothing is kind of sad. I mean, you don't really support your team, although at the same time, your team was kind of trash, but still, kind of a selfish thing to do. Either way. Yeah, well, welcome to my battle. We received 0 shells on my upper plate. I couldn't show you anything about the armor, but hey, at least we blocked 1,200 damage. I guess you'll just have to take my word on it that the Glacial does do a pretty solid job if you can get it to work right. Yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded with how dumb this battle ended up being. And, yeah. Well, let's see if we can find this comment. Speed is key. Man, that comment is just completely trying to get away, but that ISU is probably gonna, yeah, clear him off of the battlefield. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the WZ-112 Glacial. 2 very weird battles. I didn't get to showcase anything good about the tank, apart from the gun. The gun actually did some pretty cool things, but, yeah, ISU, let me just give you a friendly inactivity in battle. Just look at that. Their entire team combined did about, what, 1,000 damage? They had, yeah, like 1,000 damage. That is incredibly sad. Well, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.